Welcome to Soulful. Whether you're navigating challenges or celebrating victories,
we're here to remind you that every step on your path is meaningful. I'm Tiff.
And I'm Jess.
So let's clear our mind as we fill our soul.
Okay, it's recording. Okay. I can just edit this out. Or maybe I won't.
And we're back.
So welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Soulful. I'm Jess, and as always, I'm here with Tiff.
Hey, Tiff. Hey, guys.
And we're back, baby. We took a bit of a break, a little bit of a hiatus from the podcast and recording, and I think just had some time to focus on like our intention for this next season of Soulful, this next season of life, this next season of growth. I think individually, as a podcast, as a duo, I'll let Tiff you to speak to that as well in a bit. But just for me, I think it was it was a nice time to set some intention and to think about what does the future look like. I think a lot of times we are in like the state of like autopilot where we just do and because it's what we've been told is what we should do, or we feel like it's what we should do for whatever reason. And so I've just really appreciated kind of taking the time to have a break on the recording front, but also to have a break to think about the future and what it's going to look like and for us as a setup for our podcast. So I guess I'll just start by sharing that we are going to change up the frequency of our episodes. So we will now launch a new episode every the last Tuesday of every month. So we're going to go to monthly. I don't foresee the length of our episodes changing. We talked about this, and we just both have a lot to say. Excuse me. And also, we don't want to compromise the whole reason why we set out for on this podcast journey, I think, was to really just have the space to talk about things that are happening for us and like leaning into that growth. So and if we had to do that in like 30 minutes, I just don't think we could. So anyway, so the length won't change, or the episode length won't change, but the frequency will. For now, like this, we're calling this season 2 of Soulful, and so who knows what season 3 will look like. But anyway, so that's what it'll look like for now. But I'm excited to be back, and I'll just Tiff, just hand it over to you to any thoughts on the break, any thoughts on leaning into what we're kind of doing right now.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm very excited to be back. To add on to what Jess is saying, sometimes you might get some promotional bonus episodes we might release, depending on if we feel we're giving ourselves, I think, what we both came to an agreement is like even more flexibility, even more spaciousness in this like creation part for us. So, but if we feel called to have a bonus episode or something separate, we'll obviously let you guys know, and we'll send that out. But generally speaking, yes, you can bank on an episode coming out the last Tuesday of every month. But the break was great. I was nervous about it first because I don't know, it's like learning this like thing of I can put things down and pick them back up. Like it doesn't have to be an all or nothing thing. And I also recently did that with my newsletter too. I had taken a hiatus from that because I just wasn't feeling inspired in the way that I have been in the past. And instead of forcing it, just allowing that rest, I don't know, feels really nourishing. So, I'm just really excited to be back. All right.
Yeah. To be back. And we're back. I mentioned to Tiff, I didn't give her enough prep time to find it, but I don't know if people remember in our like very first episode, we had like what is it called? I don't even know, the director's
like
thing.
Cut
scene, that thing, and it was so funny and I enjoyed it so much. So anyways, maybe we'll have it for season 2 episode 2 because anyways, just funny. But I really love what you shared, I think, around the flexibility and something like having like more free flowing of I think the topics, the things that we talk about, kind of like less of a structure. And I was sharing like with you, Tiff, when we had conversations around this, around like if this was me a year ago, like I would not have been comfortable with doing that. I really showed up to, I think, this podcast kind of really struggling with vulnerability in a lot of ways, struggling with like, what should I say? What could I say? And I'm not gonna lie, like sometimes I still think about that, right? Like when we sit down to record, but I do feel a lot more freeing and confident, I guess, in what I have to share, but also that, yeah, at the end of the day, what yeah, what people will take from it, regardless of, what I say or how I say it. And so I just think if we always, or I guess I could speak for myself, if I always show up, speak with that intention, know what it is that I've set out to do, then so anyways, it's just been really cool, I guess, for me in the last year to see that growth, to be comfortable with showing up with no structure, and someone who really thrives in structure, because if I stray away sometimes from structure, it's hard for me to get things done, or it's hard for me to stay on track, and I'm just like, I'll go down a rabbit hole, and then it's 5 days later and I haven't done anything that I should have, or I've needed to do, or I was responsible for doing. Anyways, so I'm really, I took a lot of time to reflect on that growth as well, and just a lot of appreciation for that. And so also another cool thing I wanted to mention, before we kind of like make the transition to our topic, was when we sat down, we looked at some of our analytics for the podcast, and we're just like looking at to see like where you guys are like tuning in from, and like what our audience really consists of, like geographically, but like age, gender, like all of the things. And it was just really, really cool. And so I just wanted to say, like, you guys are really, really cool for just tuning in and listening and showing up. And we hope that you're as excited to listen to season 2, episode 1, as what we are showing up to record it. So anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I was telling the story. I went out for my partner's birthday and I was talking to the kids. And I was like, what a shock we get on. And we're like, we're across the world. Maybe not in mass numbers yet, but like what a cool thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, shout out across the world. Hello,
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's really actually very cool to just to think about that. So anyways, maybe yeah, maybe we'll have to do that more often, because I remember I was the first time I had checked in a really long time, but it certainly put a bit of a pep in my step, to know that yeah, that we're ending up on somebody's podcast feed, around the world, which is really cool. So
Totally.
anyways, so I guess with that, like one of the things that yeah, we were kind of hoping to, I guess, kick us off our season 2, episode 1, a new year, kind of a new season for the podcast, is I guess around newness, and
Yep.
also around growth, and setting goals. And I was just telling Tiff before we hit record of like how I feel that January brings so much chatter of, you
Yeah.
know, new year, new me, or, I'm going to set all of these goals. I'm going to change my whole life because it's January 1st. And I just think it's really interesting how like that has been built on over the years, like even from children, right? There's so much anticipation for a new year,
Yeah.
which is exciting. And of course, right, I'm always really grateful that I get to be here to see a new year, of course. And then sometimes I think there's just a lot of pressure that's put on us because it's a new year,
Yeah.
and like what that really entails. So yeah, so I think we'll just talk about that, just talk about the growth, and talk about new goals, talking about new um the new year, what that looks like for us, and for people who are listening, some time to reflect on it. So yeah, I don't know if you have any initial thoughts around the new happy new year, or January 1st kind of things that we've been all hearing, I'm sure.
Oh, I have so many thoughts. I don't even know how to funnel them in to say something productive. I have been personally all over the map with like New Year, New Me versus no resolutions, no goals, no nothing at all, to like visually creating what I want to do. Like I've toyed and played around with how I like to show up in January. And to be honest, it's never going to be the same anyway. Like
Mm.
some years I feel really deep and intentional and I want to really get in that space of reflecting on my year of like you just reflected back to us, which I want to rewind to, of like watching your growth in real time, you know, and mine too, like of how we show up in this podcast. And that in itself is such a vulnerable thing to like be seen as we're
Mm.
growing,
Mm.
but like how cool. So sometimes I like to really step into those like reflective spaces. Um, and then other times I'm like, I'm just tired. I'm just gonna welcome the new year for what it is. Like, I don't need to set all of this like big fancy expectation for myself. And I don't think there's a wrong way to do it. I don't think there's any shame or shade on wanting to set goals and hit them or not.
Mhm.
Because we do know, I think they say all the time, like gym memberships at their all-time peak in the
Oh
new
yeah.
year. That's when they see the most spike. Probably also diet trends and things of that nature as
Yeah.
well. Um, which says a lot about our society in general. But anyway, I
Totally.
that's not today's topic. But just I think, well, I have had a lot of conversations with people. The last thing I'll say right now, but I've had a lot of conversations with people, and their goals are very. It's not. I'm not diminishing anybody's goals, what they set for themselves, but a lot of what I hear is like these blanket statements of like, I'm gonna get skinny and fit, or I'm going to eat
Mm.
healthy all the time this year, or and it's like that's like a really big thing. Like,
Yeah.
that's what my thought first goes to. It's like, and what I know for myself to be true, because I don't want to speak on behalf of anyone else, but what I know for myself to be true is that is setting myself up for failure 100%. I if I'm looking to achieve something that big, I better well have a plan in place of how.
Mhm.
But for me, what I like to focus on is small, consistent steps because they build and they build on each other as opposed to like necessarily striving for this big blanket goal per se. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's just my intro thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I, one of the goals I hear all of the time is I want to be healthy, right? Or I want to be well, or like I want to be happy. Oh my goodness, how many times would I talk to clients, right? Like, or just people in life, like in my personal life, like, what is the goal here? And it was like, I just want to be happy. And like that's such a great goal. Like, don't get me wrong, right? Like going back
Yep.
to like,
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
course we do. We want to be well, we want to be healthy, we want to be fit, we want to be all of the things, right? Whatever our individual goals are. But yeah, like to be happy, like what does that look like? Right?
Yeah.
Like is happy, and it's going to look different for all of us, I think too. Like my happy, what makes me happy is going to be different from yourself, be different from everyone listening, right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes people just kind of like try to steer a car or steer a ship. And I should say people, I've also done this. Like me, I am people. Like I have
Me
done
human.
that. So yeah, like
Yeah.
so many times, right? Where it's like, I mean, a big one, obvious, like for me, year after year after year after year was, yeah, I want to be healthy or to lose weight. And that was something that, was a reoccurring kind of New Year's resolution. And again, like I think you're right on that. Totally goes back to how society like really puts like, a lot of pressure on people, but especially women, I think could be biased. Actually, you know what? I might take that back because I think it's actually on everyone, but where the values are. And so when I think about happy, it's like I think happiness is linked to value as well, right? Like if I feel
Hmm.
valued, I feel happy because I'm valued. Um, and again, like these like huge blanket goals of like, okay, in order even to yeah, to lose weight or to be happy or to just be healthy, there are steps, right? There are steps that we take to get there. Um, and yeah, I find if it doesn't happen like this, sometimes when we have those big blanket goals, and it's like, ah, whatever, and we're like 2 weeks in and we're giving up, you know?
I'd be really curious to know exactly what the trend is of the gym example of like people sign up and how long it is they keep going and how
Mm,
quickly they see that attendance drop off.
yeah.
Um, and I mean, I have a lot of thoughts around that, but like something I've learned and when I was training as a coach is like we really need to be use the word value, but we really need to be attached to our values around what we're going after.
Mm,
Because if we're not, if it doesn't mean something for us, if we're not really like invested in the outcome, like we can say we want it, but what's the reason? How come? Like what significance is this going to add to your life? What does it mean for you? Unless we can attach to that more deeper values-based thing, a lot of the time we give up on it.
yeah.
And I'm not saying anything in hard rule. I don't think anything is in black or white, but it's very interesting, I think, because before doing coaching, I mean, I'm somebody who likes to achieve and go after things anyway, just by nature. But I definitely set those blanket goals for myself and gave up really fast because
Yeah.
it's like, or my all or nothing brain, I would go so far deep, I would lose balance and I'd be so tipped into it that everything else kind of fell to the wayside, one or the other. But yeah, no, like really getting clear on the why, the how.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the why is something that typically we don't. I mean, how many times have I done anything in my life and never evaluated the why or never asked myself the why, right? Like even going to
Yeah.
college or furthering education or moving. Like I never looked at the why. I mean, if
Yeah.
I had, I feel I probably would have saved a few years of like um yeah, just problems or running away from problems instead of being
Yeah.
able to focus on fixing them. Um, yeah, I just like the why I think is a huge, huge thing that we miss most of the time when we make decisions or when we choose to
Yeah.
make a change, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this temporarily feels good, or the thought of this feels good,
Yeah.
or, but the school example is a great one. I mean, there was a quietness in my body of like when it was time to go to university, and I was like, I don't really know what I want to do. Like I feel a bit lost in that. But then you have all the university reps showing up at the school. They're looking at my grades, they're looking at what I'm involved in, and they're like, you're naturally going to university. Like this is the path meant for you. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, if you say so, you're
Yeah.
17, like or 18. What do you know, right?
Yeah.
You think you know the world, but really.
Yeah.
And yeah, if I had connected to my why, would I have even went to university? Unlikely.
Yeah.
Very unlikely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of things for sure that like I even think about and I think the other thing that I'll say is that there yeah, there's no regret around what I'm sharing, but I do certainly think that the trajectory of my life would have been very different. Like if I had taken some time to think about, okay, why do I feel a push to make the first move? Why am I feeling the push to make the second move, the third move, the fourth, like
Mm,
the 11th, 12th move? Um, yeah, I don't think that things would have been this like the same as where they are, and I wouldn't be the same as I am. So again, like, leaning into to gratitude for the way things turned
yeah.
out for sure. And also, yeah, just acknowledging that things could have been different or maybe may have would have been different if I leaned more or I was more in tuned or attached with like what my actual outcome was
Hmm.
versus what um I did based on the thought or based on a feeling or based on, whatever, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a good thing to know.
I think, and the word that's coming up as you were saying that is intentional. If I had been
Mm,
more intentional, and I mean, as a teenager, I don't know, maybe there are
yeah.
very intentional teenagers out there, but we're growing and learning in all kinds of ways at that age. So, yeah, would it have been different if I had been in an intentional space? I don't know, but yeah, like in being very intentional with our lives and like the direction we're taking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. And so I was actually thinking about I do this group on like change management, change, I don't remember what it's called, but anyways, it's kind of like talking about the stages of change. And I think
yeah,
like that really links back to this idea of like goal setting, right? Or this idea of having that blanket statement. And it's okay to have blanket statements. Sometimes
Yeah.
like that's all I can think of is like, I want to be happier. Okay. So that's all I can muster up in the moment of like, this is what I want to be. And so what are the things that I can do, or what does happy feel like for me? What does it look
Yeah.
like for me? Okay, it looks like when I do move more, spend more time inside, I know I feel happy and I feel good and I feel better. When have more time to connect with friends, I know that I feel happy. Like that makes me happy.
Yeah.
When I go and watch movies or I get to go to the mall and just walk around, that makes me feel happy. So it's really like taking all of those things
Yes.
and putting it into like a plan that
Yeah.
changes from what I'm currently doing in a place that I feel unhappy, right? And then there's a process to that. Like it's not like just because I said it and
Yeah.
I've identified that this is what's going to make me happy. Um, yeah, it's not that because I just do those things for like this week, or maybe I do them today and then I don't do them anymore until like March, and then I'm like, wait a second, I wanted to be happy in January. How come I'm not there yet?
Right.
you know?
Yeah. Patience is in the mix there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, patience, and I think discipline, right? Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
remember having a conversation with I had like I was a fitness coach actually, and he was very helpful, and like it wasn't around the composition of your body. It wasn't how you looked. It was very like mindset. He was very mindset oriented, and I really appreciated that. And I've still take a lot of what he shared with me like in parts of my of right now. Like also I'm going to reflect on something that he shared because it was so important. um but one of the things was he said is that you're not always going to have motivation. You're not all like today you're showing up and you're motivated, you're going to do the things that that you're going to that makes you feel well or makes you feel healthy. But he said that will not be tomorrow and it will not be the next day.
Yeah.
Motivation comes in, it ebbs and flows. And so he said, what you do in between the days of motivation is where your growth happens. He said, in here, like in
Mm.
your mind, in your body, is showing up on the days that, is a little bit harder. And you don't have to go full tilt, right? Like you don't have to go full on those days, but showing up and staying committed to yourself, like staying committed to your goals, that is where the change will happen, right? That's where you'll see
Mm.
the shift. And yeah, like I said, I've really taken that into like on the onset of every new goal. It's like, new jobs, new like houses, moving, like whatever that looks like. Yeah, so I think patience, and I think, yeah, that discipline to show up on the times where it's like, I don't feel super motivated right now to do it, but I'm going to do
Yeah.
it anyways.
What, yeah, what am I gonna do? Yeah, because there's this, I think we talked about this in another episode, but like this balance of like offering compassion. Say you're like really sick and you can't get up and you can't go that day to do the thing
hmm
that you said you were gonna do. And like also being okay to honor that, knowing you will not just drop off the deep end, and never do it again. It's
Yeah.
like I can give myself these pockets of space and time, and I'm still committed,
Yeah.
Holding that nuance for me has been very hard over my life.
Yeah.
Very
Like
hard.
you mean like between like the all or nothing kind of thing? Like if you don't
Yeah,
do something.
it's like, okay, I'm really, because like I can be super disciplined. Willpower of, I don't know what has strong willpower, but willpower of something. My
Yeah.
kid. I'm gonna say my
Like
kid.
yeah.
Willpower of my kid. Um, and I can apply that through any season, any storm, and push, 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 push. However, I've learned in my maturity that doesn't serve me, right? And
Right.
then I went through a season of being really soft and gentle with myself, which again served me, but then I stopped pushing myself. So holding that balance of, yeah, like discipline and softness.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
think that's my best way to explain it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I think it does. Yeah, because again, kind of going back to, I mean, yeah, I do hear, excuse me, a little bit of that, like the all or nothing, or
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
like, um, if I like if I miss a day or miss something that I said I was going to do. Well, and then kind of like letting that go too far because of whatever reason, right? Like, um, yeah, I can definitely relate to the all or nothing thing, like this theme of like going full or nothing at all.
Or not at all.
And it's hard because it's really hard for me when I get like 2 or 3 days into something or 4 days, and I'll use the gym for an example. So I just switched gyms, and I will firstly say that I think the environments in which you do the thing that you set out to do are so important.
100%.
This new space that I've signed up for is a women's only gym. And really, I mean, it's bougie. So like it looks really nice. So I just love going there because it makes me feel like, oh, wow, it's so bougie.
Love that.
But it's winter time, right? So I don't get to spend as much time. Like I don't get to walk Nova as much as I do when it's warmer. I don't spend as much time outside. And I've really like I miss that. Like I can really tell a difference in how it shows up. So I signed up for this new gym, and it's so easy for me to say, okay, I'll go for like 14 days in a row, right? And maybe there's some days where I just show up and I might just go to the sauna, or I might just, do 15 minutes on a treadmill or something, but I'm really trying to again practice that showing up and doing it.
Mm,
Even if I'm not doing like an hour and a half and like a really
yeah.
strategic strength kind of, you know what I mean? Um, and so but it's so easy for me to do that for like 7, 8 days, and I'll do it and I'll show up and then I'll miss one. And that one day, even though I've done it for like 14 or 15 days in a row, I'll miss one day. And then the next day, man, it's so easy for me to be like, eh, and it's just so interesting to me that I can show
Yeah.
up and stay committed to something, but literally just one day I let that go and go and go for like days in between before I decide to show up for myself again.
Yep.
Like and it's hard. Like I just want to really normalize like how hard it is to
Yeah.
do that, right?
Yeah.
Like and how common it is too. Like I don't think that it's unique to us. Like I think a lot of people can probably relate to that.
I think it's a very human thing. Yeah.
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 Or even like how I show up in relationships. So sometimes I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to try to reach out more or like connect in with people more. And I'll be really good at that for like a month or two. And then all of a sudden I
Yeah.
just stop doing it. And then if it's like, oh, well, it's already so many times, like so much time has already passed. And then the next thing you know, it's like 6 months before I reach out to, have a chat or go for a coffee with a friend or whatever. So anyways, yeah, I just think that that all or nothing thinking, the mindset sometimes really sets us up to not achieve our goals.
Yeah. And like as you're talking, what just popped up for me is like, how do we like dig into that motivation when it feels less that day? You know, that day that it's like really hard to get up and do the thing you said you're gonna do, or how do you summon that yeah, that motivation, to lean into that discipline and show up anyway? Like I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. That's an if you have thoughts, like whatever, but like how, yeah, how do we foster that quality in ourselves too, you know? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the things like what I can share is that one of the things that has worked, and I'm happy to say like it's been a few months now of consistency. And I think I'm finally in this place of I reflected on the change management and to think about what it is that I can do in that cycle of change to set myself up for success. For example, I know I just shared with you this morning, I was like, I need to go and get it done this morning because I always find it harder to find the discipline in the evenings
Yeah.
to go and show up. Um, and so I think like setting the goal is for me to not go to the gym.
Yeah.
The goal is for me to feel well and to show up
Yes.
as my best self. And I really did have to break that down. Like I journaled about that and I broke each part of that down of like what it is that I need to do to show up as my best self.
Yeah.
And one of those things was like, yeah, especially during the winter, was to move more, just to move more. I'm so used to that when it's warm outside. And that's a part of that. So I don't reflect on like the punishment part of like, oh, you need to go to the gym, right? It's
Yeah.
like you're going to go move your body. Maybe that is taking a walk if it's warmer. Like I said, showing up for 15 minutes instead of, it's not like, it's not the pressure part. And maybe, I don't know, maybe this is not making sense. And I'm not sure if it would even work for everyone. It's not like a really like, it doesn't sound like a tangible tool, but it's what works for me of like I'm gonna just show up and what I do it doesn't matter because I'm still staying
Yeah.
committed to my goal of being the best version of myself. I don't know.
Can, can I pare back what I heard?
Yeah.
What I heard was connecting back to the value of it for you. That's exactly what I just heard. It's like
Yeah.
the value is this. So if I connect back to that, it's like, okay, I can do that. And I can modify what that looks like, but I can do that because I'm connecting back to what is important for me.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
yeah, it is connecting back to the goal, not the action that I have to take to
Mm-hmm.
meet the goal. It's like the why, right?
Yeah. Back to that why.
Yeah.
And as you were talking about that, then my mind started going too. And there's like in specific coaching models, there is like a framework you can follow. And one of the things, and coaching is all around goal setting because humans know about goals, but traditionally speaking, most people don't avail of using it or know how to set goals and like be in that achieving mode with it.
Mhm.
And achieving not meaning like achieving can mean whatever you want it to mean, whatever that looks like
Right.
for you. But one of the things that they also do, and I have mixed thoughts about this one way or the other because life is going to throw things at us no matter what. But one of the questions that is, if I was to go in and write my exam, I would need to have this question in my demo is what, if anything, do you see getting in your way of achieving that? And it gets you also thinking about, okay, what are my pitfalls? Where do I self-sabotage a little bit? What
Mhm.
can I see stealing? Like maybe I overwork too much. Maybe what are some of these things so that I can proactively kind of think about some of that so that when it pops up, I'm like, oh, hi, friend. Like,
Yeah.
hi thing that I knew was coming in. And obviously we can't gauge a whole realm of what that looks like, but it does help build some more like maybe self-autonomy or like control in that situation
Yeah.
over ourselves and how we're showing up. Um, yeah, I've mixed thoughts about it because future forecast planning, I don't know. I ebb and flow between, how effective that is, knowing how life flows and we can't control it. But I do see some benefit of it for sure.
Yeah, that is, I mean, yeah, there's always an element of, things to change, but I think yeah, it's like if we can arm ourselves, right, by identifying risks as to why we might not be able to achieve something,
Yeah.
then that could only help us mitigate those risks, right? Or
Yeah.
build things that help us mitigate the risk. And I think a lot of times, like goal setting or, venturing out to achieve something, I think it's a lot of like doing the like we pay a lot of attention to what it is we need to do to get there, but I
Yeah.
don't think we pay enough attention to what might stop me from doing that, right? What are the
Yeah.
things that might come up that I might say maybe it's I don't know, it could be like low energy, it could be like stressful days at work, it could be, trouble with the kids, it could be health issues, it could be literally because I don't want to. That's my biggest one. Like my biggest one, and I know this to be true about me is because I don't want to. And so it's like, okay, when I feel like that, or when I can say I don't want to, when I hear that thought creep into my head of like, I don't want to get up to do that, or I don't want to go, that's when I kick in to say, well, actually, we're going to, maybe we're doing it for 10 minutes, but we're still doing it, right? And that's the discipline part. So yeah, I actually do see a lot of value. And of course, like being gentle and compassionate. I know that, I always want to say that to myself, but also I need to whip my butt into gear sometimes too. Like I need to be really
Yeah.
honest with myself and know that this is absolutely an excuse of why I'm not instead of a reason of why
Right.
I'm not.
Yeah, it's not like you're laid up in a hospital bed, unable to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. If that was the case, it would be a bit different. Like I do remember hearing recently, I think it was like on a TikTok or something, I don't know. But I was like, I was scrolling and I was like, yeah, you're the only reason that you're getting in the way of your goals or whatever. And so anyways, I heard it and I listened to it and yeah, there was definitely parts of it that maybe I would have agreed with, but I just think the approach was too aggressive for me. Like, if
Mm,
I showed myself that kind of like, I probably wouldn't be very kind and to me, right? And I don't know that, yeah, I don't feel like I would have the same outcome if that was
yeah.
the case.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I see some people with like super strict discipline and I'm like, are you happy? Like, does that, because I'm sure it does work for some people, but yeah,
Yeah,
for me, if it's that strict and that rigid, something's falling out of balance
yeah,
for sure. Like I can say that hands down. Something else is falling out of balance.
yeah.
Yeah. I had a thought creep in and then it floated away again. Where did I grab it? Where is it's
Where did it
floating
go?
here? Where did it go? Nope, it's gone. That's okay. It's gone.
I know that we did talk about kind of like going through a little bit of a like goal setting like structure thing or like yeah, I don't know if we want to do that now, if you'd want to. I mean, we
Yeah.
kind of have already talked about it a little bit, but I don't know. What
I,
else did you have in mind?
well, I just think I think we did already kind of talk about it in a roundabout way, so we could also just like sum it up, or I don't know. What do you feel like?
I think let's just yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do
Let's
it.
do it. What we talked about, yeah.
So I gave a little bit of thought to this. I did a meditation in recent and I was really sitting with myself and just giving myself that space to not think about anything and to let whatever float in that felt good or felt that was going to show up. And the word that kind of came forward for me was harmony. And I was like, that's an interesting word. And I'm guiding another client in something around a different word. So it just got me thinking about that. And exactly kind of I've already done some of the preliminary work, but like exactly kind of like what we were talking about setting up the stage is like, okay, first I need to get really clear, what does harmony even mean for me? If I'm looking to create harmony for myself in 2026, that's
Mm,
a blanket statement. You know, that's
mm,
sounds nice, but like
yeah.
what does harmony even mean for me? And I haven't done much. I said I've done a little bit of thinking around it, but um, if I was to take this down a coaching road, the first thing that I would probably ask my clients is, why is that important?
Mm,
Tiffany, why is that important for you? Why is
mm.
harmony important for me? And I've already like alluded to it a couple of times this session or oh my God, this recording, I guess recording session, sure, that
Yeah.
works. We'll roll with it. Um, is that I often can find myself in spaces where I am gung ho in one area of my life and all cylinders are firing, but then all of these other things just fall
Mhm,
off the wayside.
mhm,
And I've come to appreciate the various parts of me, the various aspects of my personality, like what makes me my complex person. We're all our own complex people. Um, but I have yet to master, and that's okay. I don't say that with any like, you know, uh, any negativity towards myself, but how to bridge the parts of myself together. I often feel like I'm very in work mode, or I'm very in my nurturing mother mode, or I'm
mhm,
very in my fun creative mode, or and I really stay with that part for a while, a few months, maybe a couple months, and then it's like, okay, I'm tired.
yeah.
Let's switch gears. And so when I think about harmony for me, what comes to mind is taking all of these parts and being able to honor and ebb and flow with them a little more loosely than being rigid of like, and it's not even intentionally rigid, but like I'm all of this. It comes back to all or nothing again. I'm all this right now, and this is all I'm focusing on. This is
Yeah.
all I'm doing. Because I feel like I lose out. I some lose out's not the right word. I feel like I missed the mark. So I'm going to stop talking there and don't know if you have any questions you want to invite in. But the first thing I would ask someone else or ask myself is, yeah, I want to get clear on it. What does it mean? What does it feel like? Yeah, I'm going to stop talking. I just said I was going to stop talking. talking problems.
Mhm. Listen, we have a lot of things to say, okay? Um, yeah, let me think about that for a second. So like different parts like moving together. Yeah, I think like yeah, it's I mean, first of all, I love the question of like the why, right? I think like that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense to me just in general and to get really acquainted with our why. Um, and I think like achieving harmony, yeah, it's interesting, because I'm not sure. I kind of look at myself more abstractly, I think. Like, I think I do have different parts.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also think that I'm a lot of those parts at the same time sometimes. Like, I'm even just thinking at work, kind of being that analytical, like really like decision making kind of like thing. But then like always having moments of like, how do we, and I love the creative because actually I'm off this week and I'm really looking forward to being able to do more of that because I haven't been like beading or coloring or even putting together Legos. But like even in my work, I'll find like, okay, how do we be creative about this? Right? Like how do we bring in the fun? How do we bring in that? Um, and so yeah, but I don't know that harmony is the word I would use for myself. Like for me, in that, like I don't think I'm setting out trying to achieve harmony, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah, totally.
but it's like, yeah, when you break it down, I think that's just interesting because I can see parts of myself in that too, but I'm
Okay.
just not sure how it works, like how it separates and how it comes together, I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, in fairness, I think harmony will mean different things to different people. So I think
Yeah.
that's also important to like, again, be clear on why and what that means for us.
Hmm.
And how, I mean, I can also look at the ways that harmony already exists in my life. Yes. I mean, that's also going to be true and part of it. But what I have in my mind is this ability to, I feel, okay, clarifying thought coming in here. I feel like sometimes, depending on the setting I'm in, I'm almost more of a performer. And it's not even that I'm inauthentic. It's like I'm in this space, in this role, so this is how I am. And it is a part of me. So
Hmm.
I feel like sometimes, like, okay, some of the parts that I clearly identified in that meditation that I find take really dominant roles are my fun and creative side, my
Hmm.
spiritual self, and then my really driven, hardworking, ambitious self. And those are
Hmm.
some of the three parts that are usually not on the same page. They're
Okay.
and I've been in spaces with people that I have like a vision. Now, I don't know what their internal looks like, but you feel this sense of like I feel this sense around them. Like they could be off laughing their head off over in the corner, but then they can come back in and have this deep conversation. And I don't feel like I flow. I think flow is the word here for me. This is in coaching sessions, this is what you do. You talk it out because you're like
Yeah,
trying
yeah,
to find it, right? So like having this like maybe not seamless flow because that feels like not achievable because life is more complex than that, but having this flow in between where I don't have to go in and exhaust myself bartending as an example and be fun and outrageous. Like there was a day I went in and I was like, I don't want to talk to anybody, but I
yeah.
felt this need to still be in that role of myself. That role of me is authentic, but not authentic to me in that moment, you know?
Mhm.
This was very clarifying. Yes. So the authenticity to be with the part that feels true in the moment versus being what my environment expects me to be. This was good. Yes.
Yeah. It
Does
is
that make
very,
sense?
yeah, no,
What
it
makes sense to
totally,
me?
yeah, it
Yeah.
totally makes sense. And I think that, yeah, I think that it's relatable too in terms of like, um, I don't know, like, I think like, can we have, I mean, we can, I think we definitely can, but I do think that sometimes we are going to be in roles, right? Or in spaces where we can't show up as a different version authentically of ourselves. Like that play creative, kind of like really laid back kind of person. I might not always be able to show up in my work as that, for example. And then like after work, or maybe moments throughout the day where it's not like, I guess, like not taking a what is the word, like an intent, not intended break, but like a planned moment to come back to other parts, that I can be more free flowing and like kind of not have to be so rigid in the things that I say or do. But like,
Yeah.
how do I honor that part of me even in some moments, even if I can't do it all of the time? Because I think you make a
Right.
good point, right? Like, you can't always, yeah, you show up, especially as like, bartending. Yeah, you're going to have to talk to people. You're going to have to like be nice to people and like be social. Like, you know what I mean, right? Like, you're going to have to
Yeah.
show up a certain way. So, yeah, I don't know if that, I don't know. I'm just also thinking about it, but
Yeah. Well, what comes to mind as you're talking, it's like, how do I, yes, you're right. We have responsibility is the word that's coming up for me as you're talking. Like, we do have
mm,
responsibilities in
mhm.
spaces. Like, as a mom, I can't be like, oh, bye, kiddo. Like, I
Yeah,
haven't seen you in a week. Like, I'm going to go do what I want to do and have fun, you know?
exactly.
There is other layers there. But have you ever met somebody, and I've met several people that they are so truly authentic. They walk into spaces, they don't care about the roles they're supposed to hold. Now, this is not good or bad or anything. I'm not
Hmm.
glamorizing it or taking away from it.
Hmm.
But those people face a lot of consequences in society, is what I've learned. I had a staff member that I used to manage, and they were they showed up how they felt like they wanted to show up. They spoke their mind about how they felt about what was happening. And it was problematic for the organization because
Hmm.
you couldn't like rein this person in. This person was just who they were, saying what they want, you know? And again, I'm not saying it's good or bad or
Hmm.
whatever. But the one thing that they always were was very true to how they were feeling in the moment. But they lost their job, you know,
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
so I feel like you're right, like there is that layer of responsibility. So the question that that came up for myself as you were talking is, this is true, this much I need to hold right now. How do I honor this part of myself that feels really sad right now while I'm also in this space of needing to be light and fun and conversational? Where can I
Hmm.
offer myself these moments of that? And that's kind of the part where I'm looking to bridge, instead of just bypassing that part and pushing it away till I can come back to it later. How can I create space at my metaphorical table for
Hmm.
that part to be there at the same time, even though I'm in this other role? You know, I don't know if that makes
Yeah.
sense, but
Yeah. I think it does. And I guess my question is, do you have any ideas on how you could? Because I'm
well,
genuinely interested now. Like, I'm just thinking of like how, and also I'll take some time to think about that even in my own as well, right? Because I think that is true for a lot of people to be able to do that. So I would love to hear any ideas.
yeah. Well, I can tell you I didn't do it the last time that that happened to me. So I can tell you that, which is part of what prompted this, is I came home really tired and depleted, and I knew I didn't honor myself. Like, I knew I did not honor myself that night. Do I have obligations and responsibilities? Yes. I think what I could have chosen to do, a lot of the chatting that I do is small chit chat. I think I could have just eliminated it, but I felt this pressure. I felt this internalized pressure to chit chat with the people at the bar, to like really, really show up. And like, what if I just showed up at like 50% instead? I'm not going to lose my job. Nothing bad is
Mm,
going to happen. If I'm still doing what I need to do and I'm not at my over the top bubbly self, nothing would have happened. I could have taken more breaths and pause in the bathroom. I could have even let myself have a little moment to cry in the bathroom. Like, these
mm,
were available to me, but I didn't take any of them. Those
mm.
are just like some examples off the top of my head of that specific situation, you know?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. What else? I think even having said it out loud to somebody that I could say it out loud to probably would have also
Mm.
been helpful. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just really having a day today,
Yeah.
you know? Because that would
Yeah.
have honored where I was truly at.
Yeah. And to be honest, that was kind of the first thing that came up for me, was the thought around like, I find when I vocalize things, and this has taken a lot of practice for me, because
Yeah.
like historically, and naturally, I'm not the best communicator of like how I feel. I will communicate it, but it could be by being withdrawn. It could be by like staying away from certain people or places and not but like to actually communicate, like to say, yeah, you know what, I'm struggling right now, or I've had a terrible day at work. It's been really busy. I had to do, XYZ. I'm not feeling myself, right? I need to
Yeah.
take a moment to disconnect. I need to take a moment to lay in my bed. Like that's my go-to. And I haven't always been able to say, like, this is what I need to do. But I
Right.
find when I do that, it's so much better for me because I don't feel like, oh wow, I'm just like laying in bed like a loser. Like, you know what I mean? After
Yeah.
work, I'm just like bundled up in a because I need to take a break or whatever. So I eliminate the self-talk to myself. And also people around me aren't wondering like, I wonder what's going on. Like, did I do something wrong?
Right.
My
Yeah.
fault. And so, yeah, I think that's the first thing that came to my mind around that was like, you know what, we say it, right? Sometimes if we put it out there, yeah, maybe those people wouldn't have needed or wouldn't have initiated the small talk, or maybe they wouldn't ask me why I'm in my bed, like,
Right.
and to or like to yeah, go back to like me, maybe like that might make me feel more shameful, or like letting those things like sink in my own mind,
Yeah.
because people already know why I'm doing what I'm doing or something.
Yeah. And you said something there, like I think another like nice layered question on top of that is like, again, acknowledging we have these things we must do or need to do or whatever the case is, but like,
Mhm.
what do I need right now? Also,
Yeah,
I need to do this, but what do I need?
yeah,
And really just taking some time to slow down and like, hey, check in.
yeah, yeah,
I know if I was managing a staff member, I would look at them and if I felt their energy off, I'd be like, what's up? Like, what do you need right now? Like, what's going on? Like, it wouldn't be a
yeah,
second thought. But when applying it to myself in real
yeah,
time, that's been more of a challenge for sure.
yeah, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I like, yeah, because I think it's also, I mean, especially knowing that things need to be done, or things, the expectation is for things to be completed in a certain way, et cetera, et cetera. Then yeah, there is pressure, and it is like there is, I'm not like, there is actually like we do
Yeah.
have a responsibility, right? So not taking that away, but what in the moment, like the things that we could do to stay true to this part of how we're feeling, what we're
Yeah.
thinking, and show up and do the things that, we need to do as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the visual if it is helpful for anybody if this is relating. We've kind of even we've went off topic of like even setting up a goal demonstration here. We went down. But this is what it would look like. I mean, this is
Yeah,
the honest part of it of like getting
true.
really curious about
Yeah,
what this means, how it feels, how it shows up, what's important to you about it before we can even do the how.
yeah,
Like all of those whys and whats, getting
yeah.
really clear on that. And so that's why it doesn't need to be rushed. But oh, there goes my thought again. Wow, I'm a squirrel today. I was so lit up to
I
share
was
what I was
gonna
going to share too.
back
Jog
to
my memory. What did you just say
I,
again? The
I'll say you were saying back to the goal setting, or we got off topic of goal setting. But
Oh, the visual.
oh yeah,
Yeah, the thing that I has been helpful in the past when it's been noticed in me by my coach um, is visualizing this board meeting table. And I don't know if I've talked about it here before, but there's a boardroom, and whatever part is at the forefront, that's the leader of the table that day. That's the manager. That's the boss in charge, and like giving myself permission to let that part sit down and like just like okay, what do we collectively need right now? And I know it sounds so corny, but it has been helpful to visualize. I've got 18 staff members sitting around. Yeah, I might have 18 parts of me.
yeah,
I have
yeah,
18 staff members sitting around the table. They're not in harmony. They are
yeah,
not happy with each other. So just also taking that beat to be like, okay, let's like tune in and like and clarify. But I like the visual of the boardroom because it gives me a chance to slow down and be like, okay, this part's in the driver's seat. All of these other parts are very unhappy.
yeah,
How can I kind of bring that together? Just like you would a disgruntled team meeting. It's
yeah.
like, okay, I hear you, and I hear you, and I hear you, and what are we gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah, it is true because we do have all of these different parts all of the time, right? Like
Yeah,
I think that's about being whole, like who we are as
yeah,
humans, right? Like a whole human. Like we aren't just a mother, we aren't just an employee, we aren't just a, et cetera, et cetera. Like we hold different roles, and within those roles, we have different personality traits that really are highlighted in those roles. We have different um like perspectives. We have all of these different things. So to be able to visualize, like, yeah, just because I feel this one way or one leader at that table doesn't mean that there's no space for the others. How do I make each part, not, I wouldn't even say happy, because sometimes if
No.
anyone has ever been at disgruntled team meetings, you will know that there is no way to make everybody happy, but to
No.
feel heard, right? Like to feel
Exactly.
acknowledged. Like that's it's not like, oh, no, I have to drop this and you're totally right and I'm going to jump over and you're the only person I'm going to listen to now. But it's like, yeah, being in the same space with all of those parts.
All of it. Yeah. And in real time, I don't think we're going to have time to get into the how of that today, but in real time, how does that show up when you're in the middle of a busy working day? When I'm in the middle of a busy working day,
Mm-hmm.
like how, again, just the word that comes up is like some space. There was, if I go back to that night at the bar, there was nothing stopping me from giving myself 5 minutes. I could have even
Yeah.
asked for 10, honestly.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could have just to go be like, and center and like breathe and be like, okay, like, we're here. Like, how are we
Yeah.
going to, what do you need? How are we going to show up in this? Um, and yeah, I think for anybody like to kind of zoom out for a second, like say your goal is to move more this year, say your goal is to be happier, say your goal is to be more peaceful, like, whatever that is, these are some of the questions like you and I are going back and forth and like curiosity is the word you and I use here all the time, but
Yeah.
be really curious with yourself. You can journal about it, you can chat with people about it. You don't need to have an official coach or
Yeah.
something of that nature, like just really deepen into that. And then is the part of like, and we've talked about it here before, but like the SMART goal aspect of like, how can I make this actually real in real time so it's tangible? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's that practical nature of it, like when and how am I going to commit to doing that? Is it reasonable? Can I like, yeah, and how, what, and you asked this question to me in our podcast note back and forth to each other, and it's like, what does the success of this look
Mm,
like? And getting super clear on that picture. What
yeah.
does the success look like? I
Yeah.
think that's when you said that question, I was like, yes, like, because we can't move towards something if we don't know how we want that to look for ourselves in future.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's so true. Paying attention to those markers, yeah, markers of success versus the overall goal as well, because the goal could be like 5 years from here, right? Or it could be, a few weeks from now. It doesn't, oh, am I frozen? Maybe. Did I lose you? Hello. Um, yeah, like in thinking of setting goals or like working towards goals, it's, yeah, measuring of success, right? So it's not like, yeah, the goal could be like 5 years from now, right? So like, if I want to buy a house, I'm not going to be able to do that tomorrow. Like, it's going to take some time because I
yeah,
need to save financially. I need to think about, okay, what is it that I can cut out of my budget? Where can I reallocate funds? Can I pick up a second job to make it like me save money quicker? Like, there's so many things that go into something like that, that'll be, it's like a 5, 10, 15 year process for people, right? And so yeah, like those measures of success, though, what I can say is that maybe in year one, right, I have X amount saved
right.
in, or I max out my first home savings account or whatever it is, right? Like these are the measures for success that we can put in place that lets us know that we're
Yeah,
like on our way, instead of the actual goal itself. Because if I have to wait 5 years or 10 years to achieve my goal, sometime within those 10 years, I'm probably going to feel really like, what's the point? Like i'm
yeah,
i'm i'm burning myself out. I don't see any success in work in my goal, right? So yeah, the measures of success, I think, is yeah, really important for goal
yeah.
setting.
And it comes back to those small, consistent daily steps. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be this. It's like, oh, I can reflect back and it's like, oh, now I've done this thing consistently for like 3 months. I've saved to use your house example, because I realize harmony, creating harmony for ourselves is a little bit more abstract. It can still be measured and we can still find
Mhm,
ways to measure
mhm.
that. But this is more tangible of like, yeah, I need to save $2 a day as an example. Like
Yeah,
I can put $2 away in my savings. Is anybody doing that? Maybe you're doing it
yeah,
monthly, whatever that looks like.
yeah,
But you can set up those small actionable things because then you feel good, and then you can track the progress in real time to keep that motivation going. There's
yeah,
also something else that's coming in though, is like there's this thing known as the slump. And I think this is the same thing you were kind of talking about with your fitness coach. Is that what he was, fitness
yeah,
coach?
yeah,
Yeah. Of like, yeah, when you're in that slump, what are you going to do in that slump? Because
yeah,
that's like really important. And so just to again normalize that part that you mentioned earlier is like that's part of the process. So when that comes, you haven't done anything wrong.
yeah,
That's just part of human nature. So like, yeah, when that
absolutely.
slump slides in, okay, how are you going to stay committed? How are you going to continue to show up, you know?
Yeah. And that's that risk mitigation, that it's the same thing, right? Like
Yeah.
we can predict that there are going to be times when we're not going to be able to do A, B, C, or we don't want to, or whatever. What are the parts that we're putting in to mitigate that risk of us not
Yeah.
achieving, moving forward towards our goal? I think the last thing I'll kind of share around goal setting and it was just around the change management cycle. And I share this with people in recovery all the time because yeah, addicts, we like it's a all or nothing kind of thinking all of the time,
Yep.
right? It's the survival, it's being in that space. And one of the parts of the cycle of change, like the last part, is actually relapse, right? And so, of course, that makes sense in recovery. But we
Yeah.
relapse from anything, though, right? Like it's
Yeah.
that day that I don't get up to go to the gym when I said I was going to. That's a relapse in my change, right? Like it's just
Yeah.
the cutting off of something of the change that we're making. And so to just kind of take a look at that change cycle because it is a part of it's a natural part of the cycle. We
Yeah.
acknowledge that there could be relapse in there. It's that what happens after that really, yeah, makes a difference. Is this going to be a 9 month binge? Is this going to be a 3 year binge? Is this going to be a day and then tomorrow I'm going to reach out, or maybe in an hour, maybe this evening I'm going to go. Like we also put a lot of lasting pain just went
I was gonna say, for
um
people who are not watching, yes, that
that was funny.
that was funny.
But I think we also put a lot of like time constraints, like or not time constraints, but like oh, today, like I started off my day really crappy. And so it has to be the whole day is going to be a crap day, right? Whereas, like, I can say, yeah, my morning was stressful. My morning was really hard. And now I'm going to take some time to reset, to tap into the what do
Yeah.
I need to be harmonious with the other parts of myself to feel heard and
Mm.
acknowledged. So the rest of my day, I can feel it more in balance or I can feel more in
Yeah.
control, right? Instead of like, oh yeah, Monday I'll start again on Monday or I'll do it on, and we do that all the time, right? We
I was
have
gonna
like
say we
these
hear that from people all the time. Oh, my cheat day
exactly,
lasted all weekend. I'll restart on Monday. Yeah.
exactly, yeah, exactly. So, anyways, yeah, the change management and understanding that, yeah, the change we don't just make it and then we go through this nice cycle and it's the our goal is achieved and that's it. Change takes time.
Yeah.
Um,
Preach, sister.
yeah. I was gonna go with this.
Yeah.
Um, anyways, so I don't know. Yeah, I'll just give you a chance in any closing thoughts or comments around what we chatted about.
Well, I did say to Jess, I think this is going to be my closing story that I was going to share this,
Oh
and I'll
yeah,
share it real quick because it was the cutest thing. I had the biggest personality in a little 7-year-old body walk into my work, and she was fabulous from the moment she walked in, and I had served her before. But she came in and she was like, "I'll be ordering the fries," and she flicked her hair and she's like, "Because you know what, new year, but old me." So to anybody who doesn't want to be in a goal setting space right now, just because it's January, I think that's fabulous too.
yeah,
So even if the newness is the buzz of always the January month and that doesn't feel good for you, hey, new year, old you,
yeah.
sounds great.
New Year, same me.
Yeah, same me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will say, I think this, maybe this will be my closing thought. I think this year has probably been one of, I will preface this by saying I usually look at my birthday as a new year because it's the day I'm
Me
born.
too.
So the next year is like really actually my new year. So January 1st has never really kind of been a resolution kind of thing. But well, I should say in the most recent years it has, when I was a little bit younger for sure. But anyways, I will say that this year feels really good to be able to show up and not have any new, like, no resolutions, like no goals. And I don't mean no goals in like I don't have goals. I mean no goals and like I set them, on my birthday, and I have really clear timeline on like the next year and what it's going to look like. um and yeah, it feels good actually, so I'm looking forward to see what this year brings, like, and yeah, have some time to reflect on that on December
Yeah.
26th of this year.
Excellent.
Awesome. Well, yeah, this has been great. I really think yeah, really appreciate the flow. Really appreciate being able to show up here and with lots of flexibility. So it just feels really good.
Hmm.
And yeah, I have, what is today? Thursday. So I still have 3 more days
Woo!
off, which feels so good as well. And yeah, I'll be thinking about some of this over the next few days. That was part of my goal, is to self-care on my day, the time that I took away from work. And that's part of that for me this weekend. So
Beautiful.
um anyways, yeah, I guess with that, I will say, oh my goodness, what will I say? Oh yeah. How do we
Stay
close?
soulful.
Oh yeah. Like, how do we end this? I can't remember, you guys. It's been a couple of months, okay? Like, I felt like, how do I record? Where's the button? Anyways,
It's
yes.
still in there. Yeah.
With that, what I will say is that I hope you stay soulful, everyone. I think.
For real. Stay soulful, our
For real.
community. We love you.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning into Soulful. We hope you found something meaningful to carry with you on your journey. And if you enjoyed today's episode and want to show your support, we invite you to subscribe, share the podcast, and leave a review wherever you listen.
And if you're eager for more, you can connect with us on Instagram and Facebook at soulfullthepodcast for additional content and updates. Until next time, stay soulful.